Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the last episode, we found out that someone was swearing these two witnesses to silence, and that the culprit who is swearing them to silence is likely the waiter who is actually the undercover chief inspector of the Imperial Police. Oh my god. There's that fucking... I will be having problems with Joy-Con drift in this, because I am charging my other controller, which it doesn't reach to where I have to sit down to record this stuff. So I'm having to use Joy-Con, and my left Joy-Con is drifting. So you will see some rapidly rotating things in these next couple episodes, probably until the end of this trial. Alright, so, continuing where we left off, well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier.
Puppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not have possibly had that level of influence.
For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter.
What? If he truly were?
Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about him saying it. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity is as proven by this evidence. X. There we go. I'm not sure what this is supposed to prove, counsel.
I think, Your Excellency, that what this proves is not the true nature of the waiter, but the true nature of the accused.
Sorry?
A blackguard who would stoop to presenting irrelevant evidence to incriminate an innocent man. That is the true nature of this rookie.
What? How is that wrong? Did I present the wrong thing on accident? What? I'm very confused. No, I presented this, right? I presented this, right? I'm so confused. I'm gonna check the history real quick to see what I presented. I did present the waiter's business card. How is that not it? I'm very confused. Do I have to examine it first and then, like, do this? Oh, I have to do that first. I thought that I could just present it and then rotate it into... Oh, that's weird. Alright, well, good to know, I guess. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence, if they're wielding it somehow here. So you have to get it, you have to examine it in order for the evidence to get updated. That's dumb.
Yes!
I get why they do that, but that's still kind of dumb. The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure how we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes! It's the front of the back of the card! That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. Ugh. I'm getting tongue-tied all over the place today. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Oh, the waiter himself is up now. Oh, we have all three. Alright, here we go. Inspector Hosonaga! I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The quote? Yeah, I'm not gonna... Personally, not gonna read any flashback stuff, because there's gonna be a lot of it. But yes, he was definitely very shady. This is gonna be a multi-tiered first case, too, because typically the way that the first cases work is you get one witness, and then after you get your one witness, the true criminal comes out, or you accuse the true criminal, and you get rid of them, and that's the end of case one. This one looks like we have two witnesses to start, we add a third person of interest, and then we're gonna have something to do with the killer. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So, you mean to say you really are a detective?
But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter?
Ah, of course! Your salary must be terrible!
I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. That is indeed true. Clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency.
Unbelievable!
As I suspected. Oh. soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair. Beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders.
But what if this Englishwoman was the killer?
I think it would be in everyone's best interest to not pursue that idea.
Huh?
The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case.
But it's not right!
Ooh, tensions are riding high. Despite the cozy lighting and atmosphere, with the decor and everything of this courtroom, tensions are running high in this trial. One possibility does spring to mind, and Kazuma has an idea. Of course he does.
What do you mean, Kazuma?
Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain.
Oh, interesting.
And he was a university professor. I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman.
What?
Oh boy. The tension soundtrack. I remember this. You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour.
You mean?
When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle? I'm sure that there's a pun in that name, too. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty.
What is happening here?
I probably peaked the microphone pretty much every single time that I say something about pain. I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
But, Your Excellency! That would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, It is my guiding principle to carry out all investigation flawlessly. Interesting. So it won't be a problem? Nothing will get in my way. I am concerned with your internal bleeding that you're having at the moment. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Your Excellency.
Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued! Absolutely save. There's an autosave. Isn't that nice? Ooh. Trial part 2. There we go. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer.
Forget it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't want to see the inside of a courtroom again.
Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett. A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just oh god, I started yawning. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself, then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table. I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, bang! As we've seen numerous times. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Professor Mikotoba! Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system, even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, well, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid that you'd feel that way.
Kazuma!
Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man.
To me?
Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case.
Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he probably knew the victim.
If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim?
Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him.
Oh, I see.
I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck!
Thank you!
Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need.
Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama.
Defendant Naruhodo! Court recess is over! Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once! Probably peeked the shit out of that, I apologize.
It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a real decisive blow, before these old fossils know what's hit them. Kazuma?
What?
Thank you. Really.
What for?
Well, if you hadn't said you believed in me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now.
Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend.
Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So, this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous. Oh, I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. That's a Maya parallel if I've ever seen one. Alright. Back in we go. Sitting back down into the chair.
This court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders?
And our nation founders? I feel like that might be flounders, but I don't know. Again, terribly sorry.
If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up! Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing! Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in! By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong! Diplomacy has never been more critical! Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures!
I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brat!
Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Jezile Brett.
Yes. Your Excellency!
Oh boy, what a hat. Oh my god, I hate you.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land!
Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea.
So, ahem! Could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival, but my
Yes, we know about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please?
We're not gonna see your face for a while, are we? Why are you speaking a different language? Oh, I guess she is speaking English. That's a different font style.
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what?
Oh, is he gonna have to translate for her? Yeah, he knows English too. The lady says her name is Jezile Brett. She comes from London, England. She is a visiting research student, currently enrolled in Yume University's medical faculty.
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Here, her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thinks the beautiful... Oh my god, I changed his voice again. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says, yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right here in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. So you're lying, because you did it. Order! Order in the court!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. And we will do that next time. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh geez, oh boy. I am not looking forward for her to actually start speaking Japanese and me having to speak a high-pitched voice. There have been no women in this case other than, of course, you know, likely the recurring character that we see with her father. But, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what her true nature is. She's definitely hiding her face, so maybe there's been some sort of wound that she's hiding or something like that. We'll see. But thank you guys very much for watching, and next time we will cross-examine Miss Giselle Brett.